Avasthatraya Viveka by Sri Devrao Kulkarni. We had started yesterday, first session, introductory session. Today is the second session. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Dr. Krishnamurti Shastri, Dambe, Punacha, Karnataka, India. ॐ अवस्थात्रितयं यस्य क्रीडाभूमितया स्थितं तदेव ब्रह्म जानीयादिति वेदान्तडिण्डिमः. So, this avastha tritayam, that is three states, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, awake, dream and deep sleep. These three states are the playground for whom that is Brahma. You have to realize like that. This is the utterance by the Vedanta Shastra. So, Avasthatraya Viveka, method of examination of the three states of consciousness, viz. Waking, dream and deep sleep. The Vedantic method of avasthas assumes nothing, entails no brief in authority, and seeks the aid of no special intuition. It builds upon the fundamentals of human experience and insists that all the three avasthas, like the waking, dream, and deep sleep, should be investigated before we can light upon the absolute reality underlying the manifestations of life. By a procedure peculiarly its own, it teaches us to look upon each of the three states as a complete expression of reality, and then equating each of them to the other two arrives at the remarkable result that our Atman, as the witnessing consciousness of all the three states, is really the highest reality, free from the taint of all the three illusory avasthas which are superimposed upon it by the empirical understanding. Sri Sachidanandendra Saraswati Swamiji told this. Now, Avasthatraya Viveka, method of examination of the three states of consciousness, that is, waking, dream, and deep sleep states. The uniqueness of Avasthatraya Viveka. What is its speciality or uniqueness? Man's life, if taken in its totality, comprises three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. If man wishes to arrive at a truth, he cannot afford to take a partial view of life, giving predominance to waking state alone. The whole gamut of human experiences are subsumed in these three states alone. ज्ञेयमेतान्येष त्रीणि एतद्व्यतिरेकेण ज्ञेयानुपपत्तेः. गौडपादकारिका भाष्य. There is nothing beyond these three states to be known, for all the postulates of different schools are comprehended in these. And hence, taking into account all these three states of consciousness alone will be the comprehensive vision or outlook of life. Vedanta takes the human experiences of all the three states, viz., waking, dream, and deep sleep, to arrive at its conclusion so that they become irrefutable and valid for all times. No other system of philosophy except Vedanta bases its inquiry on a comprehensive tribasic view of life and the principle of universal acceptance. Many people are of opinion that through the valid means of knowledge like perception, pratyaksha, inference, anumana, Elder's statement Aptavakya alone, the examination of objects must be carried out. But Shankara says that one should undertake an inquiry by keeping the intuitive experience Sakshi Anubhava alone, which exists in all the three states of consciousness, which is waking, dream, and deep sleep, and which is the substratum for even the valid means of knowledge, pramanas. Sri Sachidananda Saraswati Swamiji has given this peculiar outlook of comprehensive vision of the life while explaining the tri-basic method of Vedanta, that is Avasthatraya. For this, the reader is referred to the Sanskrit introduction of Mandukya Rahasya Vivruti by Sri Swamiji. Here he explains the whole range of life, which is divided into two parts, that is Darshana Vritti Avastha, that states of waking and dream wherein one sees something else, and Adarshana Vritti Avastha, the state wherein one sees nothing, based on Shankara Bhashya Mandukya 5. Darshanadarshana Vrittayoho Tattva Pratibodha Lakshanasya Swapasya Tulyatvat. Here Shankara treats both waking and dream as dream, since one misconceives reality in either of them. In Upanishads, the same method is taken as example in Kena Upanishad. It is said as Vidita and Avidita. Anyadeva tad vidita atho avidita dadhi. Murta and Amurta in Brihadaranyaka. Dve vava brahmano rupe murtanchaiva amurtancha. The same thing is said in Bhagavad Gita in Kshara and Akshara. As Kshara and Akshara. Dvayamo purusho loke ksharascha akshara evacha. In Bhagavad Gita again, Sat and Asat, Anadimat Param Brahma, Na Sat Tanna Saduchyate. As Vyakta and Avyakta in Bhagavad Gita, Avyakta Vyaktaya Sarvaha Prabhavantya Haragame, and Vyakarta and Avyakrata in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavata. Nama Rupa Lakshanena, Rupa Bhedena, Vyakrta Avyakrta Atmakena. That is in Shankara Bhashya, sorry. Sutra Bhashya. Nama Rupa Lakshanena, Rupa Bhedena, Vyakarta Avyakartatmakena. Taking these both sides of life, that is the whole of life in all its manifested and unmanifested forms, and determining the truth is an important thing in Vedanta. All types of experience, just as common man's experiences, mystic experiences of various yogis, upasakas, and so on, are included in Vyakta or Darshana Vritti Avastha. And in the deep sleep, where there is no appearance of the dualistic world, it is said from the standpoint of waking state, which is common to all, that the dualistic world remains in the seed form, meaning that it disappears for the time being, etc. It is an undeniable fact that there is no third category of experience, and this is called as Avyakta or Adarshana Vritti Avastha. This is comprehensive vision of life. This type of analysis of life is not based on any individual experience. The individual experiences which are gained through efforts are bound to time, space, and causation factors, but one's own being, which is the substratum of the two states of Darshana and Adarshana Vritti Avasthas, is clearly beyond the dualistic conditions such as space, time, etc. On this firm ground of one's own being, that is the witnessing principle of life, Shankara's Vedanta is built. Those who have not noticed this pure being are clearly unable to understand Shankara's heart properly. This methodology of the tri-basic intuitional experience is enough to enable a true seeker to take a stand on his true essential nature of being or the witnessing self directly and immediately. Various aspects of the avasthas. The people at large do not have any idea about the viewing of the avasthas from four different viewpoints. For this purpose, the various aspects of the three states are shown below. One, that's A, waking state. Again, four subdivisions in every state. In waking state, one, from the standpoint of physical science, from the standpoint of psychology, second point, third point from the standpoint of religious aspects, and fourth is the from the standpoint of Vedantic aspect or standpoint of the witnessing principle of life. Sakshi. Next, dream state also from the empirical standpoint, from the scriptural standpoint, from the standpoint of the witnessing principle, from the standpoint of dream itself. Next, in the deep sleep state, from the standpoint of fatigue, from the standpoint of the seed form of the world and vasanas, or vasanas actually, seed form of the world and vasanas, that is the purva samskaras. From the standpoint of causal ignorance, from the that is from the standpoint of the intuitive experience of deep sleep. Deep sleep. Now we shall discuss in detail the various standpoints in subsequent chapters. So, in chapter 1, four aspects of waking state from the standpoint of a physical science, that is material science. Now, let us see. Commonly, man assumes that the world or the universe is existing, and I am also existing in this world. From this standpoint, one starts understanding the truth about the outer world. For this, man relies on his sense organs, mind, etc. The process of material science runs in three ways, that is, experiment, observation, and inference for the verification of the objects. So, this is from the standpoint of a physical science, the four aspects of waking state here. In this way, modern science has discovered so many wonderful things such as useful machines, etc. to discover the truth of our objects, outer objects, by using so many methods. Now, science has come to the conclusion that the electrons, protons, and neutrons are the basic units for all things in the world and hence the creation. In this way, investigation on the animate beings has resulted in the discovery that the underlying principle of animate beings is cells, genes, etc. By this, they have started a new type of genetic science. To the question, where from do the things like the nucleus, electrons, the cells, the genes, etc. are produced? The scientists have no answer and they explain it away by saying that they are there naturally. Then, naturally, for these things to function, the a priori concepts of time and space are required. Then, if they are further questioned as to how time and space have come into existence, then they dismiss it away by saying that these questions are concerned to metaphysics. In other words, they admit that these questions are beyond their sphere in the material science. All these are the barest description of the material science which pertains to the outer things alone. Some thinkers of metaphysics hold the view that all the above and above said the universe is regulated by time, space, and causation factor. So these people have started to think over the nature of time and space. What is time and what is space? In brief, there are three types of opinions. One, space means the distance which is there between two things, and the time means the interval or intervening period between two occurrences or events. Second, some hold the view that the above contention is wrong because to assert 1, 2, 3, etc., there must be the space or time which continues eternally. For example, things which are side by side or existing in space can be called 1, 2, 3, etc. Here, the things are in the space, so the existence of the space is not proved through the things, but the space is the substratum for the things to exist. Then only we will be able to count the things as 1, 2, 3, etc. The same principle will have to be applied to the time factor also, that is, without the substratum of time, there will be no counting of series of events. Thus, the above contention is not correct. Third, some other Western philosophers say that the concept of time and space are a priori notions of the mind, meaning whenever the function of the mind starts, inevitably it starts with the notion such as time, space, and causation, etc. The mind holds the view that the time space factors are eternal, hence, we cannot know the thing in itself, that is, how the world and the mind are there without these concepts of time and space. The conclusion drawn here is mental concepts And there is another view also. From this standpoint, they say that time, space, and causation and outer things are all connected with one with the other uh, all connected one with the other relatively. Here there is no absolute thing in this world. This is the theory of relativity. And they infer that theory of relativity is by Einstein, Albert Einstein, scientist. And they infer the fact that apart from this phenomenon of the world, which is totally in the relative field, there may be noumenon, absolute principle, and it may be the God, the great geometer. This final conclusion is drawn by Einstein. All these types of thinkings regarding metaphysics do not provide final conclusion regarding the world with time, space, and causation. Second, from the standpoint of psychology, these people have shifted their field of enquiry from the outer world to the knowing mind. They study the nature of mind and the kinds of thoughts, etc. Here also, probably, they examine the minds of other people and animals. This is the study of objective mind. Just as one's own mind is evident through direct intuition, others' mind is not so evident directly, but can only be inferred. Through these inferences, they have classified them, nature of mind, etc., as child psychology, animal psychology, etc. In this theory, they hold the view that the mind itself is consciousness. They also have to accept the concepts of time, space, causation to determine the nature of the mind. Even though it is useful in our daily life, providing relief from mundane problems, yet they are unable to determine the real nature of time, space, causation, and the world. Third, from the standpoint of the religious aspects, the religious ideas say that there is a soul, that is Jiva. He who owns the body, mind, and the senses is the Jiva. This soul is capable of controlling the mind, sense organs, and body, and that this soul is quite different from this gross body. Being a doer, he has to reap the consequences of his actions, good or bad, in this world or in other worlds. Probably these beliefs are based on the utterances of various scriptures like Veda, Puranas, Granth Sahib, Bible, Quran, etc. These ideas are more subjective than the above two views. Here also they accept the existence of many souls and an existence of God quite separate from the world and the souls as the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of this universe. When they say that the doer has to reap the fruits of his own actions, they automatically accept the concepts of time, space, and causation. In this viewpoint, also, the final conclusion regarding the real nature of the world, time, space, and causation is not possible. Next, fourth is the from the standpoint of Vedanta. In Vedanta Shastra, it is said that the whole universe is restricted to the whole, to the waking state. To explain the phenomenon of the universe is divided into three planes: the divine plane, the sun, the moon, the planets, billions of stars, etc., and also other worlds like heaven, etc. This group is called as divine plane or Adhidaivika Prapancha. Adhidaivika Prapancha. The material plane, the material world, which is the conglomeration of the five elements: space, Akasha, air, Vayu, fire, Agni, water, up or Jala, and earth, Prithvi. All inventions of material science, the physical bodies of all creatures, etc. This group is called as material plane or Adi Bhautika Prapancha. So, Adi Daivika Prapancha, including sun, moon, etc. Adi Bhautika Prapancha, material plane after the divine plane. This is inclusive of all the five elements and all the physical bodies of all creatures, etc. All inventions of material science. That's the material plane or Adi Bhautika Prapancha. The corporeal plane, the body, the vital force, organs of action, that can be called as Pindanda. So, other two can be come under Brahmanda. The other one is this corporeal plane comes under Pindanda. The body, the vital force, organs of action, sense organs, the mind, the intellect, feelings of sufferings and enjoyments, and including the I sense or me notion, aham, aham bhava or ahamkara. That is the idea of I, ego. This group from body to ego is called as corporeal plane or adhyatmika prapancha. So, divine plane, material plane, corporeal plane. Adhidaivika prapancha, adhibhautika prapancha, and adhyatmika prapancha. The ideas of infinite time space causation are also to be included in the phenomenon of the universe. According to the Vedanta, the whole of the above said universe, with all its multiplicity, together with the concepts of infinite time, space, and causation, is restricted to the waking state alone. Thus, Sri Shankara explains the nature of the universe itself in his Sutra Bhashya 112 as follows: This universe that is manifested through name and form, अस्य जगतः नामरूपाभ्यां व्याकृतस्य, that is associated with diverse agents and experiences, अनेक कर्तृभोक्तृ संयुक्तस्य, that provides the support for actions and results having well regulated space, time, and causation, pratiniyata deshakala nimitta kriya phalashrayasya, and that defies all thoughts about the real nature of its creation, manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. Whenever the waking state appears, all the above said phenomena appear simultaneously or co-eval. The witnessing principle of life, that is, the self which is beyond me notion, is the substratum of the appearance of waking state. The aspirant has to realize that as I am the witness of the waking state, including the me notion, in me the waking state occurs. This is the same as in the case of dream state. Before the occurrence of the dream, one's own being is there in deep sleep, and in that being the whole dream state occurs with its all phenomena as described for the waking state, such as divine plane, material plane, corporal plane, the concepts of time, space, and causation, etc. The waking also is to be observed as the same case. When the aspirant observes this, at the time of observation, he takes his stand on his true nature of the witnessing principle of life and loses the wrong identification with the waking ego as well as with the dream ego. As this being is not only the substratum of the waking state, but there is no other source for this waking state apart from this being also. Hence, the conclusion that arises is that pure being itself appears in the garb of waking state without forfeiting his true nature. So, this form is described as Vaishwanara Pada in the Mandukya mantra number 3. Here, the Atman is called Vaishwanara and it is described as having 7 limbs. The divine plane is the head, the sun is the eye, fire is the mouth, space, the waist, water as the bladder, and earth as the feet, and 19 mouths, 7 limbs, and 19 mouths, 5 organs of actions, 5 sense organs, that is Karmendriya and Jnanendriya, 5 pranas or vital forces, Pancha pranas, Pranapana, Vyanodana, Samana, 4 forms of Antahkarana, that is Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. Because he is the witnessing principle of all the universe consisting of the knower, means of knowledge, and object of knowledge encompassed by the waking state. So, here the 19 mouths 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas, 10, 5 pranas, so 15, 4 antahkaranas, 19. An objection is raised here by the Bhashyakara that the self, who is the innermost and beyond the I notion, that is the individual itself, how do all these concern to him or belong to him? Because the self is restricted to a particular body. For this objection, Shankara replies in his Bhashya thus: Naisha dosha sarvasya prapanchasya sadhidaivikasya anena atmana chatushpatvasya विवक्षितत्वात् एवंच सति सर्वप्रपंचोपशमे अद्वैत सिद्धि सर्वभूतस्तश्च आत्मा एको दृष्ट स्यात् सर्वभूतानि च आत्मनि अन्यथा हि स्वदेह परिच्छिन्न एव प्रत्यगात्मा सांख्यादिभिरिव दृष्टः स्यात् तथा च सति अद्वैतमिति श्रुतिकृतो Vishesho na syat. Mandukya Bhashya 3. The meaning of this Bhashya statement is that all the dualistic phenomena of the whole waking state, including the divine plane, should be taken as an adjunct to the innermost self and not the individual self, with the limiting adjunct of the body and senses is referred to here. By this one can sublate or falsify the waking state and realize the non-dual nature of the self, and he can see all the creatures in him and in all the creatures himself. This type of non-dual nature, which is described in Upanishads Isha 6 and Gita 6:29, will be realized only by taking the self, that is the witnessing Atman, as conditioned by the associate of the whole phenomenon to the waking state. Then only this right vision of non-dual realization takes place. It is on this supposition alone that he can be identified as Brahman alone, or Brahman really, the conditioning universe being shown to be only an appearance. Otherwise, if we hold the view that the self is separate in each body, then we will come to the conclusion of the Kapila Sankhya doctrine, which is a sophisticated dualism. And if it be so taken, Advaita yogic teach of the Shrutis would be missed. From this standpoint, Vedanta discerns the nature of the universe as Brahman. When one does not know the true nature of Brahman, he mistakes the Brahman as the universe. So, next, how to realize the true nature of Brahman. Let us see in the next session. So, this ends the second session of Avasthatraya Viveka of Sri Devarao Kulkarni. Hare Rama. Om Tat Sat.